Early history of Qarluq tribe. The earliest mention of the Qarlak Turks appears in the legend of Oghuz Khan, whereupon Oghuz Khan gave a part of his army the title of Qarluq, which literally means dwellers of the snowy regions. Oghuz Khan was the first monotheist king among the Turks, and his era is said to be 5,500 years ago. All historians agree that the lineage of the Qarlak Turks goes back to Turk bin Yafith bin Na, peace be upon him. The good manners and hospitality of the Qarlak Turks have been praised in Hujud al-Lam. Historian al-Masudi writes that the most warlike tribe among the Turks is the Oghuz, and the most beautiful of stature and size are the Qarlaks. They live in the vicinity of Fergana and Shashtashkent, and the Khakhans of the Khakhans belong to this tribe. Divan God al-Turk mentions this about the Qarlak Turks: a group of tent-dwelling Turks, although they are not descendants of Oghuz Khan. But like the Oghuz, they are called Turkmen. The Qarluk Turks were remembered by various names in the early period, including Khalq, Qarluq, Qarluk, Al-Khalqiyo, Qarluq, and Qarluq. Battle of Talas and acceptance of Islam by the Turks. In Central Asia, Turkestan, the light of Islam had reached from the time of the caliphs, and during the Umayyad period, areas up to Samarkand and Bukhara had been conquered, but in these conquests, instead of spreading religion and Islamic teachings, more were done for the cultivation of children and the collection of jizya. Attention was paid, due to which a very small number of Turks were attracted to Islam. Between China and the Islamic State, the Oghuz Turk state was established in the vast areas of Trans-al-Nahar and Central Asia, which was ended by the Oghuz Yabgu and Qarluk Turks in 744 AD, and a few local states were established in these areas. Taking advantage of the political changes after the Abbasids came to power in 750 AD, the king of China sent his general Mao with a large army to Turkestan and beyond. Their main goal was to promote Buddhism in the region apart from conquests, while on the other hand, Muslims also wanted to establish power over Central Asia for the promotion of Islam and dedicated to jihad against the growing Chinese army. The Abbasid Caliph sent an army of 30,000 under the leadership of Ziyad bin Saleh. Between the two great states lived Turkic tribes who held to their ancient beliefs and whose social life and religious beliefs were to be greatly influenced by the victorious faction of the coming war. The Chinese general knew that he could not face the Muslims alone. Therefore, they offered the local Qarluk Turks to support them in the war against the Muslims in return for money. Although the Qarluk Turks did not look kindly on the Chinese before, but due to the internal differences of the Turks, they came under the influence of the Chinese due to their weakness. On the other hand, the Umayyad rulers were also hated by the Turks due to their heavy taxation and cruel policies. Qarluk Turks promised to support China with 10,000 soldiers, and in 751 CE, the Abbasid and Chinese armies faced each other at the Talas Canal in present-day Kazakhstan, with the involvement of the Qarluk Turks. The two armies were militarily equal in number, but in the first 3 days of the war, the Chinese army was prevailing. One of the reasons being the unfamiliarity of the Muslims with the new land and the war skills and experience of the Qarluk Turks. Even on the 4th day, the Muslims could not achieve significant success and had to suffer a large number of casualties. An atmosphere of hopelessness and despair had set in the Islamic army, but they were also aware of the fact that if they did not show steadfastness, there would be no hope of their survival. The Chinese general Gao had considered victory certain and hoped to deliver the final blow to the Islamic army the next day. On the 5th day of the war, Ziyad bin Saleh took the initiative in the battle using all his forces and started advancing towards the Chinese army. Apparently, this step of his came in the sense of suicide. The Chinese commander also ordered his troops to advance, but this time the situation was different. The Qarluk Turks, who were part of the Chinese army, attacked their Chinese allies from the rear, and the Chinese were besieged from both sides. In fact, last year Ziyad bin Saleh secretly met Qarluq Sardar and persuaded him to support him. In return, the Abbasid Caliphate promised to make the Qarlak Turks the rulers of the conquered lands and assured all possible help, and the Qarluk Turks became allies of the Muslims. The Chinese army could not withstand this unexpected attack, and many were killed and captured. General Mao escaped with the rest of the army, and the Turkic lands came under the complete control of the Muslims after the historic victory in the Battle of Talas. The conquered areas were given to the Qarluk Turks by the Islamic government, and other tribes became subordinate to the Qarluk Turks. In 757 CE, wars began between the Uighur and Qarluk Turkic tribes, resulting in the victory of the Qarluks, and in 766 CE, the Qarluk state was founded in Central Asia and Eastern China, according to Yaqubi history. In 160 to Hijri 789 AD, Yabagu rulers of the Qarluk Turks accepted Islam and followed the Hanafi religion. The Qarluk state was merged into the Qaraqani Empire in 880 AD. According to historians, the Qaraqani were also related to the Qarlak Turks. This state lasted till the time of Genghis Khan by Rahmatullah Turkmen.